I'm gonna break it down in summary. A lot of people don't understand that my career didn't start like other people's did. You know, basically coming out of high school, graduated from junior high. That was in 2017. So I immediately went to a 4-year because I felt like, you know, I'm pretty intelligent. You know, I can do this. Anyway, freshman year went well. Sophomore year came about. I ended up going to class one day, and my professor was like, "Hey, Mr. Mitchell, you know, you're not on my roll anymore." And so I'm confused, you know, and you know, like I'm confused. I'm like, "How am I not on your roll?" Go to financial aid. The director at the time, she's like, "Hey, Mr. Mitchell, you're not on my roll at the college. Somebody else is." Like there's another Michael Mitchell within FAFSA that has your same social security number. And so I'm just stuck, you know, like, how can that happen? So from there, I pretty much got kicked out of Jackson State. So if anybody that was at Jackson State around the time of like, in the class of 2021, if you were wondering where I was, that's why. Like I literally got kicked out of school. So I ended up, you know, just drifting, working. I was still shooting, but at the same time, like you might have seen me on campus, but I wasn't going to no classes. Like I was just out there, you know. And I ended up going to Hines Community College because I'm like, okay, I got to figure out like if I can still go to school. Every semester was null and void, so I go through the whole semester. They'll tell me like, hey, Mr. Mitchell, you know, I know you've taken classes, you signed up, but FAFSA is not applicable for you. So, you know, you'd have to try this again. I'm just like, bro, what is going on? Keep in mind, you know, like I'm doing this all by myself. Like this ain't like a family kind of thing where, you know, people are trying to help you. Like I'm trying to figure this out by myself. And so, man, long story short, in 2020, after 3 years, so, you know, trying to figure out like all of this stuff. I'm kicked out of school, you know, got, you know, dead end jobs, like mentally drained, physically drained, just all of that. One day, the truth came out that I was adopted, and that at the same time of me being born, it's like I was given the same social security number as somebody else, and 10 weeks later I was adopted. And as far as me getting kicked out of school, that came about because somebody else named Michael, his last name wasn't Mitchell, but at the same time I signed up for my sophomore year of school. His mother got married to a guy whose last name was Mitchell. And all of this was like a 5 out of like 200 million chance this could happen. And so when people would ask me if I'm all right, and I was like, yeah, I'm good, I was definitely not good. So, yeah, that was a story. That was a story. And shortly after that, my documentary came about, and you know, it went like it went, and I wasn't well. I wasn't well. I was lost, and I didn't have that much help. And I'm not on here to bash, you know what I'm saying, anybody about it. But I held on to that for years, trying to piece all that together, still trying to be Michael Kang to the people. Some folks will see me, you know, constantly like changing like Instagram names, or you might not see me that much, or, you know, I'm working like, you know, a lot. In the midst of all that, I became a father too. And so I was fighting. So you gotta think about it, like the way that my mind was at the moment, I wasn't right. I was not mentally right. But I wasn't able to express that. I couldn't tell somebody like, oh man, like I'm hurting right now, or I couldn't reach out for help because I'm already conditioned as a man to just go without help. When I wasn't, and then, you know, it's one thing to be, you know, like broke. If you don't want to ask nobody for no money, how am I supposed to go to a person and ask them like, man, technically I didn't exist? Because this is the thing you got to understand about this situation. Because I was given the same social security number as somebody else, technically I didn't exist until February of 2021. So think about that. Like, think like the identity crisis that I had already just naturally was going through as coming from teenager to young man. So now I'm going through that naturally, but then societal in a societal circumstance, I'm dealing with just the reality of like, okay, I didn't exist, you know, on paper. That's a lot to think about, you know. So you add that on top of just, you know, finding out that you were adopted, being kicked out of college, like, don't nobody know how to relate to that. So the help that I was looking for could only come from God. It could never come from man, because man ended up getting me in this situation, you know what I'm saying? So I held on to that for years. I tried to continue to shoot, and I tried to continue to be the Mike that everybody knew. I didn't know who the hell I was. I didn't.